I'm ABC meteorologist Mike Masco. Tuesday weather blog. Want to update you on the latest with the storm. Our storm snowfall forecast from yesterday looks like it's going to verify pretty nicely. We have the new 12Z model runs in, so I'll show you what they're showing you. But some revisions now to the winter storm alerts. We have a winter storm warning for northern Baltimore County, Carroll County, and as you go towards Frederick County and points west into Hagerstown. You hop over the PA side, we still have winter storm watches from York County on points north. I think that may be updated to a winter storm warning. That office is just a little slow to issue these, but they'll probably make the revisions as we go into the afternoon hours. Still Philadelphia under winter storm watches, New York City Metro under a winter storm watch, and then you have winter storm warnings North Jersey and then into the lower Hudson Valley and into Connecticut. As far as Baltimore City is concerned, winter weather advisory. Advisory just means that we're not expecting a tremendous amount of snow, but travel concerns due to slickened up roadways are certainly going to be possible as we go into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. So let's take a look at the storm right now on Maryland's most powerful weather radar, because there's a couple of interesting features we're watching. First off, you notice again a stationary boundary sitting right off the coast, still close enough to allow for our daytime highs today to get into the low 50s, but we're watching this piece of energy across the Great Lakes. What this will do is start to dig into this system a bit, kind of infuse a storm or infuse the southern jet stream and allow for a storm to develop down here and roll up towards the north. And again, the question is, when do you see that merge of the northern and southern jet stream to allow for this storm to explode? Is it, south of Ocean City, or is it just off of Cape Cod? And is that a New England type of storm, or is this an entire mid-Atlantic into New England storm? And that's kind of the question that we have to fine-tune over the next several hours, and that's when we break into what's called nowcasting versus forecasting. You just have to watch your players come together and see how this is all going to, come together. If it's a system that develops further down to the south, it's a stronger system, and we have more dynamics in play. Certainly going to have more colder air, and thus you have more snow. But of course, if it's a storm further to the north, that's when you're talking about a great storm for the outer boroughs of New York City as you get into Connecticut, Massachusetts, and then into eastern New England. But again, two players on the boards, one over the Great Lakes, southern jet stream energy coming together. And the question is, where are we going to get that storm to form? In fact, if you look at some of the forecast models, there's some indications this storm may pop a little bit further towards the south. So future weather, I want to show you the new GFS versus last night's European. Kind of synced up the time, so this is about right on. GFS showing right into this. GFS is actually the green coloring, so it's showing the low developing and deepening just off of Ocean City, while the European's pretty much similar in that area. But we now are going to shift our focus more towards the NAM, the RPN models. The SREST will start to come into play. These are our short-range models, which picks up the dynamics and picks up the convective potentials as we go into the storm for tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. So we'll show you the NAM. This is the 12Z that just came out, showing some pretty good rains coming down Wednesday morning, moderate rains. You notice that the cold air trying to work in across Deep Creek and southwestern Pennsylvania. So we'll start to see high elevation segue over to snow. And by, say, Wednesday afternoon around 1 o'clock, you're going to notice the rain-snow line dropping quickly into the 95 corridor. In here are some pretty good elevations. So you get into the 600, 700-foot elevations here in western Maryland. And right in this pocket in particular, just south of, I think it's Chambersburg, you could be talking about some S-plus snow, some really good, convective bandings of snow developing. And that's why the NAM has produced more snow in the recent couple runs we've seen. The 0Z, the 6Z, and the 12Z has really went gangbusters on snow projections. So if you're watching the Weather Channel and you're seeing some pretty aggressive snowfall forecasts, which I still think they are pretty aggressive or too aggressive, you're looking at the NAM. And again, the NAM sometimes overdoes it, but might be onto a solution. So we'll have to watch that pretty closely. And then the precipitation's ending by the early evening hours, 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, most of this wrapping up, and there could be some residual snow showers. What I'll be watching is these what we call vertical velocity maps at 700 millibars. This indicates how much lift will be available in the atmosphere, and the stronger the lift, the better indication of higher snowfall rates, higher snowfall rates will overcome that warm boundary layer. So this is showing some pretty good lift across central Maryland. This is D.C., Baltimore's right in here, and then northwestern suburbs. Look at this, you know, these minus 20s showing up. An indication of some very, very good lift in there. That's from the NAM, and the GFS is even more gangbusters. As you're seeing a quick development, the quick short wave we showed you over the Great Lakes digging into this system. So that's what we're going to have to watch. If I'm going to make revisions to our last night's snowfall forecast, it might be higher for our northwestern suburbs, but if I were to give a base number, 6 is probably the best base number. Here's the new 12Z NAM. It's showing, again, about 3 inches inside the Baltimore-D.C. Beltway. I think that might be a little overdone because, as we know, 95 is usually the cutoff. So north of that, you'll see about a couple of inches. You get north of that, northwest side of the Beltway, the NAM's trying to spit out around 3 inches of snow, and you get into 4-inch amounts. And then right in here, as you see the pinks, this is a coloring of around 3 to 6 inches, and some bullseye where you see high elevation around York County, Dallastown, and then you get back up in here. That's when you're talking about 8, 9 inches of snow. That's now per the NAM. If you take the liquid equivalent of 10-to-1 ratio, so for every 1 inch of pure liquid rain at freezing, you'd get 10 inches of snow. So I'd have to assume that we're talking about 7 and 8 to 1 ratio. So if you kind of cut those numbers down, you get around 6 inches of snow as you get north and west of I-83 and then north of 70 in central Maryland. And then you expand this back into Lehigh Valley, northwestern Jersey. This is 6, 10, maybe 11 inches of snow. The GFS also showing pretty similar solution here. Here's the 1-inch line right in here. So this runs through 95. This is all slush, by the way. North and west of that, 2 and 3 inches. And then this is the line of around 5 inches here with 6-inch bullseye down across the Shenandoah Valley. So pretty similar to the NAM. You look at the European, very similar as well to the NAM, showing 4, 5, 6-inch amounts in here with pops around 9 inches. But again, that's an assumption of a 10-to-1 ratio. And we know that it's been pretty mild, so we can't assume that 10-to-1 ratio. In fact, this is spitting out max amount of 10.3. So again, you're probably talking about around 8-inch snowfall forecast in there. The RPM, which has been very, very tardy for the party, is just been spitting out weird numbers. This is the most aggressive run I've seen, 2 to 4 inches, but the latest run has been a dusting to an inch. So I'm going to have to discard that at this time. I would like to see the RPM fall into some kind of a category, but it's just not there. All right, so the morning, this is the breakdown again I used last night on ABC News at 6 o'clock. Morning hours, the city rain, you're going to see a rain-snow mixture in northwestern suburbs. By lunchtime, I think it's a moderate snow in northwestern suburbs. The city, you will start to mix in some flakes. And by the evening, reduced visibilities, slushy secondary roadways in the city, and you could start to coat up the roadways north and west of town. Just be aware of that. One last snowfall forecast map I want to show you is our in-house Adonis model. This is a NAM base, but it is tweaked by Weather Central, our weather provider, showing around a solid 2 inches here in Baltimore, 2 inches in Joppa. You get north and west of that, you get into the 4 and 5 inch amounts. So we have a pretty good consensus on this forecast map we made last night, showing a good solid slushy coating along the 95 corridor into the eastern shore. You get into the 1 and 3 inch amounts across central Baltimore County, southern Baltimore County, central Harford County, central Cecil County, and then down towards Loudoun County and northwestern suburb of D.C. And then you ramp up 3 to 6 inches and then 3-6 possible as you get into our northwestern suburbs. If I were to make a revision, I'd probably drop this 6-inch amount down a little bit more, and then certainly shift these numbers down into New York City. I think New York City is probably going to pick up around 4 inches of snow. This 1 to 3 may be pushed into the Monmouth County, Ocean County line. And then Philadelphia still like the idea of around 1 to 3 inches down towards northern Newcastle County and Lancaster County. Lancaster County, western Lancaster County, and southeastern Pennsylvania, probably around 3 and 4 inches of snow. So revision-wise, we'll work on this. Take a look at my Facebook and Twitter later this afternoon. I just want to see the new European before I make a final call. By the way, again, regardless of what's falling out of the sky with the precipitation reduced visibility, there are a moderate potential of travel impacts and significant and severe travel impacts for our northwestern counties into the Lehigh Valley. And again, where you see the severe indicators, that's where you could see an upwards of around 6 to as much as a foot of snow. And by a foot of snow, I'm kind of emphasizing that more so over northwestern Jersey into the Lehigh Valley. All right, that's it for now. I will talk again with you on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll have a very important update tonight on ABC2 News at 5 and 6 o'clock. Have a great day.